Happy Monday. Welcome to live recording of Money in the Morning. For those of you new here, I'm Joe Salcihai, and we do our recordings live in front of a Facebook audience, which is you, which is Julianne. How are you? And today I'm a little distracted because we have a pod moving everything out of the basement. And for the next 6 months, it's going to be live from the apartment over some dude's garage, which should be funny. By the way, if somebody, I'm going to post this later in the basement, but if anybody hears, if anybody listens to our friend Dave over there, and hears him say, I heard from somebody that he talks about don't take advice from dudes who live in their mom's basement. And I want to know which episode that's on. If you can get me that episode, that would be fantastic. That would be absolutely fantastic. I don't often listen to Dave, but I did the other day. And it was so fun. It was a good time. All right, Karen's here, out on a stroll. Today, we have, it's Boulevard Brewery. It's really made for beer, but brewed in Kansas City. Hello, Kansas City. All right. Stop clowning around. Let's get this thing going. Oh, I forgot one thing. I know, Ryan. I'm stuck at work too. Being out for a stroll this morning sounds like fun. All right, here we go. Well, sound check anyway. And I got nothing. All right, that's good. Start that over. Nope, there it was. All right, good. Good there. Okay, looks like we're ready to roll. I was watching it earlier, Ryan. I love watching that. This is my favorite month every year. And boy, it's going to be an interesting tour this year, isn't it? Oh, but Massachusetts would be fun. Are you by the ocean, bay, harbor? I'd love to be in muggy Massachusetts versus muggy Texarkana right now. Love Texarkana. I'm going to miss it, but not right now. The blogger Lee from Bald Thoughts is driving here right now. He's moving from Los Angeles to Nashville, and he's stopping by with the whole family. Oh, nice. Okay, guys, let's get this recording done. So if you've got stuff you want to contribute, feel free in the comments to contribute. This is for tomorrow. When I was a kid, I was afraid of all that stuff under the bed, right? I'm sure that was you. Big monsters under there. But whenever I looked under my bed, different than in the movie Monsters, Inc. There was never anything there. And now we know, of course, that's because the monster moved or because he's invisible. We've got all these different monsters, and they're always moving around. They don't stay under the bed, kids. Just saying. Just because you looked under the bed doesn't mean the monster isn't there. But looking before you scare yourself silly, and confirming, like some parents go around with kids and they look under the bed, they look behind the door, and maybe that's just not for kids. And maybe that's where we need to start today, isn't it? Start with a couple headlines. Live from my mom's half-finished basement in Texarkana, Texas. We call this Money in the Morning. How are you today? Hey, glad you're waking up with us, because today we've got two fantastic headlines ripped from the financial press. First one coming from the AP, and the second one from our friends over at Motley Fool we're going to get to. Then, as if that's not enough, we're going to take those two headlines, which have seemingly nothing in common, and send you home with what we call the big idea. Before that, want to say big thank you to Tiller for supporting Stacky Benjamins. Tiller's the place for spreadsheet nerds, whether you're somebody that likes your spreadsheets as complex as you can get them, or you're like me, like the easy buttons. Tiller's built for you, and you can download all of your financial transactions easily and efficiently. Head to stackybenjamins.com/Tiller for more. All right, we've got some big headlines. You got things to do. So, Laura, why don't you get this party started?
Here are today's Money in the Morning headlines.
Headline number one comes to us from the Associated Press. California sues the nation's largest student loan servicer. It's a pretty cool headline, seeing that yesterday we had Michael Torpy and Natalia Abrams over on the Stacky Benjamin show. Nice follow-up piece to two people that say there have to be changes. This is from Sacramento. California's Attorney General announced Thursday he's suing the nation's largest student loan processor, alleging it's harming consumers by failing to properly service the debts. The Attorney General said the state will sue Navient Corporation last week, contending the Delaware-based company financially harmed thousands of Californians. He said the firm systematically and illegally failed to properly service federal student loans by steering borrowers to more expensive repayment plans, failing to tell them how to switch to income-driven repayment plans or how those with disabilities could end their debts, and misrepresenting how it handled payments. Quote, no one should have their American dream shattered because some loan servicing companies cheating those future leaders of a chance to move ahead, Becerra said, a Democrat running in the November election. Navient president and CEO Jack Raimondi called the allegations unfounded in the lawsuit, quote, another attempt to blame a single servicer for the failures of the higher education system and the federal student loan program to deliver desired outcomes. Quote, the need to blame someone has driven these lawsuits, Raimondi said in a statement citing the company's low default rates and high enrollment in alternative repayment programs. About 4.6 million Americans were in default on their student loans as of December, according to the Department of Education. That's more than double what it was 4 years ago, and more than 10% of the 42.8 million Americans who currently have a student loan backed by the department. Of the roughly 12 million borrowers serviced by Navient, Becerra said about 1.5 million live in California. So it's interesting. On one end, this might be a political stunt, right? Somebody running for governor. And then did I say governor or was it Senate? Can't remember. That's the fun of doing these shows live. Running for, I just said a Democrat running in the November elections. So it doesn't tell us. And I don't live in California. But I think it's important here today to talk about student loans, because the piece of this I want to focus on isn't the piece that might be political. Not that I want to steer clear of politics, just not what this show's about. Number one. But also, number two, I want to steer clear of it because we're talking about student loan repayment elsewhere. The thing that I want to talk about here is this. He talks about the firms systematically and illegally fail to properly service federal student loans by steering borrowers to more expensive repayment plans. Start there first. So when I would work with people on their student loans and repaying student loans, the default for these things is that if you've got 5 different student loans, that you pay them down equally. So you might pay $32 to one, you're paying them down percentage wise, so they're all paid off kind of at the same time. And it's really frustrating because you never feel like you get rid of any of the loans. Now, you can change that by writing a letter directly to Navient or whoever your servicer are. But the default is to make sure they get as much money on all the loans as possible, which makes sense, by the way, because so many people do default on their student loans. So I get it from their point of view. I also get where this lawsuit's going, saying more expensive options. Not sure if it's more expensive or not. I just know that it really isn't in my favor. It doesn't make me feel better. It doesn't feel like I'm ever paying anything off when I have a student loan, 5 different student loans, and none of them are being repaid very quickly. They're all going to be repaid at the end. But more expensive repayment plans, failing to tell them how to switch to income-driven repayment plans. So there are many programs that allow you to pay your student loans based on your income amount. We've reported on that a lot lately. Or how those with disabilities could end their debts or misrepresenting how it handled payments. I'll tell you frustration, and I'm not going to defend Navient here because I don't know the scope of the suit, but I do know this. As a guy that owns a small, little tiny company based in his mom's basement, it's hard to find your audience. It's hard to find the people that need to know the thing that you want to teach them. People are less and less and less findable. You send people mail, they don't read it. You send them an email, it goes in their junk. You send out a newsletter, and even if they sign up to your email newsletter, I can send the fact, by the way, and I'll tell you this now, I can send the fact that we're coming to Philadelphia. I can say it 57,000 times. July 22nd, we're going to be in Philadelphia, and somebody who listens to the show all the time is going to tell me they never heard of it. They didn't know it was happening. They're in Philly. They would have loved to have met us. Love to have meet us. They be love meet us. So it's so very difficult. And I think to some degree, it is your responsibility to figure out and look at all of your different options before you sign on the dotted line for anything. And the frustrating thing is that a lot of us want somebody to tell us what the thing is, right? We want somebody to tell us, hey, this is the right way to go. This is what you should do. And that's fine. There's people out there that do a great job of that. I mean, former financial planner, that's kind of what I used to do, was tell people that. But it still isn't, my job as a financial planner was to make you look at things better so that if I got hit by a truck tomorrow, you were able to make these decisions on your own, not to have me take it away from you. And let me give you an example of kind of looking at all your options before you agree to anything. Let's say you've got $15,000 in credit card debt. I'm going to go from student loans to credit card debt. You really want to look through. And by the way, I realize you could be paranoid and think, oh, there's one more option I'm missing. Listen, if you just go to 3 or 4 different Google search pages that come up when you put in student loan debt repayment options, you're going to find 95% of them. It's going to take a lot less time than you think. It's going to lead you much more quickly to what the best option is. It isn't the big thing that you often build up in your head. Oh, it's going to be a problem. I can't figure out. Why don't I just get somebody to tell me? Nope. They might lead you to something that they think is right. I see bias all the time, even in our Facebook group for the Stacky Benjamin show. I see lots about people have bias towards certain mutual fund companies. People have bias towards certain ways of paying down debt. People have bias toward different types of insurance products. If you want to get away from the bias and just get the facts, you got to do a little homework on your own. But let's take a look as an example, $15,000 of credit card debt. There are tons of different ways to pay down credit card debt, right? The first thing is to just take every extra dollar you have and make the credit card payment. That's option number 1. Now, why doesn't that work? Because if things come up in your life, and things always come up in your life, you get the debt almost paid off, and then your muffler's dragging behind your car. Where do you got to go for money? You got to go right back to the credit card. And what I've seen is people for years and years, they almost pay off their credit card debt, and then something bad happens. So you've got two choices. Either make it so nothing bad happens again. And if that won't work, great strategy. But if that won't work, the second thing that you do is get an emergency fund, right? So take maybe half your money, even a quarter of your money, start off with 3/4 of the emergency fund, and then back down the emergency fund savings when you get over $1,000, but keep that money dripping in there. So you get to your 3 to 6 month number, keep that rolling, but accelerate your credit card payments. That's option number one. Option number two, do the same strategy, but get the interest rate lower. And there's two ways to do that. Way number one is look for a 0% or a low interest credit card. Put the money over there. Make sure you cut up the old card. I'm not worried about your credit rating. I'm not worried about any of that. But, I don't want to cut up my card because cut up your card. Don't worry about the whole credit rating game until you get your debt under control and your spending, by the way, under control. Because the biggest problem with credit card debt isn't really the credit card debt, is it? It's using how you use the credit card. So until you clean up that, nothing's going to change. But 0%, get a 0% card, roll the balance over to the 0% card, and then start socking it away with no interest. Same strategy we used before, but consolidating the debt down. Now, if you can't trust yourself with another card, you better move to a consolidation loan, cut up the card, keep the account open. That preserves your credit if that's what you're worried about. Leave it open, cut up the card so you can't use it and you have to just pay cash for everything, and then pay off the consolidation loan. Once again, maybe lower interest rate, set payments that you have to make. You can also use a home equity line of credit. I don't like putting consumer stuff you bought on your house, but this last year it was tax deductible. It's at a very low interest rate. Still might be tax deductible. Well, actually, if it's a home equity line of credit, it won't be. If it's a mortgage, it will be starting next year. But you can see there's all these different ways. There's all these different ways to pay down debt. And there's even further, by the way. I mean, you can go to a credit counseling company, have them renegotiate your credit if it's really bad. You can go bankrupt. There's so many different ways to pay down credit card debt. Don't just have somebody go, oh, here's what you do. One thing, right? Look at all your different options. And that's really what I wanted to talk about with this piece here. Not really that California's suing a student loan provider as much as take control, walk through all of your options before agreeing to anything. All right, let's say hello to everybody hanging out with us in Facebook land today. We do these live in front of a Facebook audience, and we've got Julianne here. Karen is on vacation in Massachusetts, out for a morning stroll. Ryan is taking a break from watching the Tour de France to be here. We're very excited that Ryan's here. And by the way, we're taking a break from watching the Tour de France. And as we record this, I think is the World Cup today too, or is it tomorrow? Don't know. Brittany's here. Hey, Brittany. And Ryan says English is hard. English be hard, Ryan. English be hard for the win there. All right, let's move on to our second piece, which comes to us from The Motley Fool. This is written by Maury Backman. The number one retirement danger no one warns you about. Well, that's certainly a clickable title, isn't it? So let's read. Retirement can be a scary prospect if you go in unprepared. But what exactly does being prepared mean? You'll see plenty of articles highlighting the danger of entering retirement without a sufficient nest egg. You'll also hear plenty of dire warnings about the need to plan for the whopping expense that's healthcare, as well as the need to secure long-term care insurance. But here's one major hazard associated with retirement that doesn't tend to get the same level of press: the boredom factor. And if you're not careful, it could hurt you more than you ever imagine. What will you do with yourself during retirement? Financial experts across the board agree that in the years leading up to retirement, it's crucial to assess your savings, figure out what your senior living expenses will look like, and make sure those numbers align. But when's the last time someone sat down and talked to you about the emotional impact of retirement? The reality is that it's difficult to go from a loaded work schedule to an existence devoid of structure, no matter how much you may be looking forward to your escape from the daily grind. The fact of the matter is, that retirees are 40% more likely than workers to suffer from clinical depression. And the reason boils down to feeling isolated, restless, and unfulfilled in the absence of a job. Of course, this isn't to say that you can't work in some capacity during retirement, thereby minimizing that risk, but a desirable means of part-time work can be difficult to come by if you don't take steps to secure one in advance. And while bagging groceries at the supermarket is a solid means of filling some hours during the day, it might not bring you the sense of satisfaction needed to feel good about yourself and your new routine. I'm going to skip down here just a little bit to keeping yourself engaged. Listen to this. The challenge of occupying your time in retirement often boils down to a lack of money, more so than a lack of options. The average U.S. household age 56 to 61 has a mere $163,577 set aside for retirement, according to the Economic Policy Institute. Now, to be fair, data several years old, so there's a good chance the average has gone up since being published. But even if we double that to say 327,000, that's still not a ton of money to work with over what could easily be a 20-year retirement or longer. In fact, at a 4% average annual withdrawal rate, 327,000 translates into just 13,000 of income per year. And so it goes. It is a money problem. It is a money problem. It's a money problem, and it's a emotional problem. It's a what do I do with myself problem, right? And so even if let's say that you're a long ways away from retirement, you're like, yeah, Joe, this headline doesn't really apply to me. It'll apply to you faster than you think, number one. But number two, this idea of just fulfillment in your life, right? There's so many people chasing the FIRE movement, financial independence, retire early. And I love seeing that. People aggressively thinking about getting away from what they're doing now. But the fact is, if you retire at age 35 or age 65, in this piece, she talks about a 20-year retirement. You retire at 65. We're probably looking now at closer to a 30-year retirement or maybe longer. That's a long time. If you retire at 35, think about 35, fulfillment from 35 to 95. It's a lot of time to plan. It is a money problem. But the money is the second step behind what kind of lifestyle do I want to live? And certainly for most people, I don't think it's a $13,000 a year lifestyle. I don't think people go, yeah, I'm going to save about $300,000, live on 13 grand with my feet up. Not what people are hoping for. So I think that the lesson here, I love this idea that the number one worry is what you do. I think that the big takeaway is it's a sense of fulfillment in your life, whether it's work or not work or whatever, and let your money decisions be driven by that instead of the other way around. Too many people doing what can I afford to do instead of what do I want to do because they didn't spend enough time planning the latter. We're going to talk about that next week, by the way, on the Stacky Benjamin Show. Fritz Gilbert is coming on the show over there. He just retired. He's a blogger at Retirement Manifesto. We're going to talk to him about all the decision-making he did. Maybe that'll be very helpful for a lot of people. All right. That's our second headline. We're about to move into the big idea where we take these two headlines that seemingly have zero, zippo, nothing to do with each other, and we're going to put them together. How do we do that? I'm going to show you. It's like magic. Show you in just a second here. Going to say another hello first, by the way, to our friends on Facebook. Michael's here. Hello from hot and steamy Michigan. Now, hot and steamy Michigan, where I'm moving, versus hot and steamy Texas. It's always a bad day when it's hot and steamy in Michigan, but that's like a bad day. Maybe it's a bad week, right? It's a bad 3.5 months here, Michael. Now, we take the other side, which is in January, Michigan, pretty always cold, where it's cold a couple days here. There are a few days you have to wear a coat here, but you rarely have to zip it. You know, it's kind of the benefit of living here, which I'm getting away from just so I can move to Michigan in January. Smart move. Jamie's here saying hello. So let's talk just for a second about Tiller, and then we'll move on to our big idea. You know, if you're not familiar with Tiller, you probably haven't listened to the show before, number one. But number two, our friends at Tiller have made it super easy for you to work with spreadsheets the way that you like working with spreadsheets. And maybe when I say the way you like working with spreadsheets, you're like, what? I don't like working with spreadsheets. Well, the cool thing is neither do I. So for people like me and you, guess what we get? We get templates. Tiller has tons of templates, but if you've got your own and you don't like a template, you don't like an app, you want it your way, Tiller gives it to you your way. Actually, you give it to yourself your way, and then Tiller helps you fill in all those blanks really easily, because the thing Tiller brings to the table, besides their incredible expertise putting together these sheets and the ability to have you make them however you want or them help out every way they want, you press a button and all of your transactions seamlessly and safely download to your sheet where it's all yours. StackingBenjamins.com/Tiller for more there. And by the way, if you're interested in Tiller, you use Tiller, you'll get a month free to check it out. But if you end up buying, that's how you help the show, is when you buy, they pay us a thank you for sending people their way. And that keeps Money in the Morning operating. So don't buy it if you don't want it. But if you do, please use our link. All right, let's take these two headlines and bring them together. The first headline, California suing Navient. It's a interesting lawsuit, but our big takeaway there is look at all of your options, or many different options, before agreeing to anything. Don't just take somebody's word for it. It's so easy to do a quick Google or Bing search. Second headline, number one retirement danger nobody warns you about, and that danger is boredom. That danger is not figuring out what you want to do with your time. What you do is your number one worry. And having the fuel to be able to do that is a big piece of that worry and taking care of it. But the big idea here, if we're taking time to explore all of our options to pay off student loans, pay off credit cards, pay off our mortgage, pay off whatever it is, I talked about looking at a lot of different options. And then when it comes to your fulfillment in life, we talk about all the different things that you can do, right? Not just getting away from the thing you're doing, going toward something, not away from something. We want to go towards something. But being able to make those moves, you know what I found? I found an Austin Kleon, who wrote a fantastic book called Steal Like an Artist. Austin Kleon said, keep those times away. And I find that when I'm out on my morning run, or if I'm walking or hiking, or I'm on a road trip, having fun, I'm on vacation, my team used to hate me when I come back from vacation because I'd have so many different ideas. Your best ideas are going to happen when you're away. And listen, I know for some people struggling with a lot of debt, taking time away isn't something you can very easily do. But I'll tell you, the 12-hour days without any exercise, where you just go on a long walk or a run, a bike ride, whatever it might be, you're going to spend a lot of wasted time sitting at your desk versus if you're feeling a little healthy. And I got to tell you, it's always when I'm doing that healthy stuff that I come up with some of the best ideas to handle my biggest problems, like paying off debt, like retirement. I mean, this crazy move to Michigan that we're doing, just to use myself as an example, that came from wonder if we did this, what would happen? And we kind of did the Ben Franklin on that. The Ben Franklin meaning, a lot of people might not even know what the hell the Ben Franklin is. You put all the positives on one row, all the negatives on the other. Got a ton of friends here. Love the climate. Absolutely love so many things about Texarkana. But there were so many things that were in the other option. Family stuff that's on the other side. Going back down to one house instead of having a rental home. Having a bigger community for this show, being able to join like the Detroit Economic Club, get involved there like I'm involved here. A lot of exciting options. But it's during that time away. If you can spend some time out of the trench, actually at 30,000 feet, looking down on yourself and your life, I think you're going to make some better decisions. Susan said, floating in the pool is when I do my best thinking. Man, that's fantastic. I had 2 people here with us today who are at the pool. How great is that? I want to get by the pool, so we got to go. Thanks to everybody for listening. We'll see you next time. Go Stacks and Benjamins. Bye-bye.
Money in the Morning is created by Joe Saul-Sehy and is brought to our channels by our producer and engineer, Richie Rutter-Reese. Stacking Benjamins and Money in the Morning are for entertainment purposes. Before making moves, consult with your financial advisor. Looking for training sessions? Kathleen Selmans has a great suite of Stacking Benjamins tools, so head on over to learn.stackingbenjamins.com. Hoping to chat with us on the web? Say hello to Shannon Cowan, our social media guru and community manager in our Facebook group. She can be found at stackingbenjamins.com/basement. From the basement, I'm Joe's mom's neighbor, Doug. See you tomorrow.
All right. So I got to move on to the next thing. Craig, games are gone, are almost all packed up. Some of them are staying here with us, but a lot of them are going into this pod. So for 6 months, I'm going to be shaking because I got fewer. I'm down to like the top 30 board games, which is rough. Yeah. Big time first world problem. All right, guys,